Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Because I don't have any technical difficulties right now. I know how technology gets. Mic situated properly. All right, bet. Let me turn this music off. What up, what up, what up? So listen, y'all. First of all, I want to shout out to all my online coaching clients and everybody who's joining from my email list. I sent out an email blast, and some of you guys are tuning in from my email list. And if you haven't joined my email list, join my email list. Is on my website. Finally, you got some time to watch this. That's what's up. I appreciate you, Taloa. Hope I pronounced your name right. Rashawn Diamond, what's the deal? What's the deal? All right, y'all. So look, this is going to be a good one tonight. I'm excited about this one. I got some really dope videos on the way. So if you guys watch my YouTube channel, stay tuned. We're about to take things to the next level. Like I have this goal, call me crazy. Like I really want to make it systematic, right? Being able to achieve whatever your fitness goals are, because it's not about diet and exercise. And I think that's the thing that the fitness industry has messed up, right? They have everybody thinking, oh, you need to focus on your diet, or you don't have, yes, of course, obviously you got to eat the right stuff, right? Obviously you need to eat the right stuff. Obviously you need to exercise. That goes without saying. But it's so much deeper than that. And it has the world thinking that it's because they have a lack of discipline, right? It's not because you have a lack of discipline. It's not because you're lazy. You got to understand that it's so much deeper than that. And tonight I'll just be able to scratch the surface. Let me get this mic right. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, that's better. Tonight I will be able to just scratch the surface. All right. And if you guys have questions, let's save them for the end. I will be doing a Q&A at the end. I will take a few questions while we wait for folks to join. Brix, how do I get to talk to you one-on-one or hire you as a coach? Great question. If you go over to brixfitness.com, there's a tab where it says online coaching. You click online coaching, and then you go to the online coaching page. You can schedule a call for me. You answer a few questions and you can schedule a call. So if you're serious, go over to brixfitness.com. I'm taking on coaching clients right now. All right. So yeah, the fitness industry has a lot of people disappointed, right? Because they're teaching weight loss. They're teaching fitness from the wrong angle, right? From the wrong angle. It's not so much, we put 80% of the attention and the energy on diet and exercise, when really diet and exercise is maybe at best 20% of it. At best, diet and exercise is 20% of it. And tonight I'm going to be talking specifically about why your subconscious. Now, let me be very clear. When I talk about a lack of love, I don't mean, oh man, I don't love myself, and you consciously abuse yourself, or it's not like that at all, right? Let me ask you guys a question. Let me see something. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you believe that overeating is a form of violence towards yourself, is a form of abuse to yourself? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree that overeating is a form of abuse towards yourself. I know when I overeat, I always feel like I just abuse myself. Let me know. Put it in the chat if you agree with that. Let me know if you agree that overeating is a form of self-abuse, is a form of almost like violence towards yourself, especially if you do it, if you really overdo it. Let me know if you believe that that is a form of abuse. I think it is for me personally. Anytime I overeat, I feel like I just really violated myself, right? I feel like I just violated myself, my body, and my body communicates that to me, right? It communicates to me that I just violated myself. And I think when you think about any time you've overeaten, right? Not any time, but most of the time, right? Especially when you do it at home. It's always because you are trying to numb some sort of emotion. And a lot of this stuff may not even be conscious. Let's be very clear. A lot of this stuff may not even be, you may not do it on consciously. A lot of us don't even realize what we're doing. We don't understand these behavior patterns, right? But when you overeat, most likely it's because of a few things, right? And I'm going to get into that tonight. But first, let me talk about compulsive eating, which essentially is overeating. There's a difference between addictive eating and compulsive eating, right? It's two different things. I don't think most of us are addicted, because when you start thinking about addiction, it's kind of like with drugs. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a fine line between compulsive eating and addictive eating, right? I think there's a fine line there. But for the most part, I believe most of us are just compulsive eaters. And you got to understand this, that compulsion, that drive inside of you to overeat foods, it comes from somewhere very primal, right? It's very rooted in your nature. Make sure, let me know if you guys understand what I mean by that, right? Compulsive eating, and we've all felt it. It feels like a spell, where it's like no matter what, you got to get another piece of cake, right? You have to find a dessert, or you got to get a second plate. It's like you can't even choose not to. Have you guys experienced that? If you experience this like unstoppable draw to get more food, or to get another cookie, or to get another slice of cake, put in one in the chat. Let me see something. Because that compulsion is something that is very physiologically programmed in you. All right, let me check the chat real quick. That compulsion is designed in you, right? So what you got to understand is there is, and I don't want to get off track too much, because I do want to get to the topic, right? Why the lack of self-love is causing the weight gain. I'm going to get to the topic, right? But I do have to digress for a second, because you got to understand something about your physiology, right? Your body your eating habits, that compulsion is located in your subconscious mind. That's why it feels unstoppable. That's why you feel like you cannot control it. That compulsion is not a matter of your choice, because you wouldn't choose that for yourself. No one would choose that consciously, right? And this is why I always tell you guys, you need to be kind and patient with yourself, because that compulsion to overeat is not an indication that you are lazy, or that that something's wrong with you, right? That is not an indication that something is wrong with you. This is something that is very primal. Your body is trying to protect you from something. And I need you to understand that. Your body wants to be fat. There's a program running in your body, in your subconscious mind, that is trying to get you to remain fat. And the reasons are most likely emotional. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. The reason why your subconscious mind is trying to make you or keep you fat, the reason most likely is something emotional, right? Because what happens is your brain, when you're experiencing that compulsion, and 10, let it out. I want you guys to feel this. Look, I'm getting goosebumps right now. I want you guys to feel this, because I want to say some things to you that will leave you, after you watch this, you're going to give yourself more grace, because you just need to understand that it's not your fault. You're not broken. You got to understand this stuff. There's nothing wrong with you. We've been attacking the problem from the wrong angle. We don't have the full understanding of how our systems work, how your mind and your body works. What your subconscious mind is doing is trying to protect you. So let me go back, and I am digressing a bit, and I promise I'm going to get to the lack of love topic. I promise you. But I want to give you guys some background, right? Are the original humans. Let's go back to the primal days, caveman days, whatever you want to call it, right? When our brains were evolving back then, right? Our subconscious mind, which is sometimes called the reptilian mind, is the first part of our brain that developed. And that part of our brain was developed to keep us safe, to keep us alive, right? Listen, I want you guys to pay attention to this stuff. I want you guys to pay attention. The subconscious mind, the reptilian part of your brain, which is the back part of your brain, was designed to keep you alive, right? So any threat, right? And there were 3 threats that the original humans were dealing with. It was the threat of famine, meaning like there's no more food, right? Because original humans, they were hunter-gatherers. They had to find their food. They had to hunt for their food. They had to collect food. And sometimes there was food, and then sometimes there wasn't, right? So your subconscious mind, whenever there's calories around, your subconscious mind is going to ask you to eat as much as you can, because that protects you for the famine. Right? If it comes to a time where you cannot find food, if you have body fat, you will survive during that period of time. Right? So you got to understand that. You got to understand that is one of the reasons why your primal mind, your subconscious mind, is programming you to get fat. Another threat is cold, right? Cold weather. Fat protects you from cold weather. I want you guys to stay with me. Put a 1 in the chat if you're still with me. I want to make sure you guys are still following me. I promise you I will get to the lack of love, because this is all relevant. This is all relevant. Put a 1 in the chat if you are still with me. I want to make sure that I'm not losing you guys here with this stuff. This is very important stuff. This is very, very important stuff. I'm going to get to the topic, right? For those who are just joining, we start off identifying whether or not you are a compulsive eater. And I'm trying to explain to you why you have this compulsion to overeat. And it's not because something's wrong with you. This is a biological, physiological defect, right? That is caused most likely by emotional trauma, by stress in your environment. Because what happens is, so let me get back to that. So the other threat, famine, right? If there's no food around, if you have body fat, you'll be fine. If it's cold, if you have body fat, you'll be fine, right? If there's some sort of threat amongst, if there's like a lion around, if you're fat, that's not going to be fine because then you're slow. But I'll get to that. You're slow and you're meaty. They want you. But anyway, I'm just trying to explain to you some of the threats that the original humans, the part of our brain that was developed during that time, that is its design. But that part is still active inside of us. But now the threats have changed. And the threats that the body, that the subconscious mind registers, can only register it through the body. It cannot distinguish nuances. Your subconscious mind can't say, oh, They're just stressed because this new chick he's dating is getting on his nerves and she is toxic and they're toxic. Your subconscious mind don't know shit about none of that. All your subconscious mind does is analyzes stress and thinks, oh shit, here's stress. Let me make him fat. Because that is the subconscious mind, the primal brain's way to protect you. I want you guys to understand that. I'm breaking this down for you because I'm hoping that you will give yourself grace. Because here's the thing, there's ways to program that subconscious mind to want you to be fit. I'm going to say that again. There are ways to program your subconscious mind to make you want to be fit and thin and healthy. I want you to understand that. It's not, your subconscious mind is very impressionable. It's very impressionable. You can change the programming. But if you continue to focus on going on these restrictive diets, which is actually compounding the issue, right? Because if you think about it, when you go on a diet, what are you essentially doing? You are telling your subconscious mind that there's famine, that there is a lack of food. So that's why every time you go on a diet, you get your cravings skyrocket. Put a one if you've experienced that. Anytime you go on a diet, now all of a sudden you want to eat everything under the sun. Put a one in the chat if you can relate to that. That is because your subconscious mind is registering that as famine, meaning that there's no food around. So what it does is it optimizes your metabolism to store fat. It slows your metabolism down because you're not feeding it enough. It feels like you're starving it. And now it's time to send the cravings. Subconscious mind is like, yo, send this motherfucker cravings because I need the calories. And the same thing happens when you have a diet full of processed foods. Even if you're getting the right amount of calories, you're not getting any nutrients. And your body registers the lack of nutrients as a threat as well. And that's why I always tell you guys to focus on eating a whole foods diet. You want to eat foods, you want to eat a diet that is, I like to say at least 80% whole foods. The processed crap, the fake foods, that shit is killing us, y'all. Get you some avocado, get you some sweet potatoes, get you some food that comes from the earth. Because your body will thank you. You will learn. See, the key to making weight loss easy, and I promise I'm going to get to the subject, is programming your mind to put your body in a mode where it doesn't feel like it needs to be fat. She Black, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. You have to train your mind. And I know that sounds very like ambiguous. You have to show your subconscious mind that you are safe. And the way you do that is start by loving yourself. That's the first way to reduce the stress. Because when you have all of these, right? Let me pull up mine. When you have the lack of self-compassion, when you're not patient with yourself, when you are constantly criticizing yourself, when you're not respecting the process and you're not doing the due diligence that you need in order to reach your goals, that is registered as stress. And again, how does the subconscious mind register stress? Oh shit, time to make this person fat because it's time to protect them. The stress, our bodies register the stress, the mental and emotional stress. It registers that as a threat. And anything that your body receives as a threat it's going to send you cravings. It's going to send you cravings. You got to get your mind, your body out of make me fat mode. You got to understand this, guys. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. But when there's a lack of love, and a lack of love is normally it's fear. It's self-doubt. It's criticism. It's entertaining relationships that don't serve you. That's a lack of self-love. Overeating is a lack of self-love. It's self-abuse. It is abuse. So don't say, oh, I'm about to go treat myself when you know you're about to overdo it. That's not treating yourself. Now, I'm not villainizing these unhealthy foods, so I eat them. But what I am speaking against is the overconsumption of these foods that are literally killing us. It's not okay. It's not okay. And let's talk about Black folks for a second. I love us to death, but the way that we eat and the way that we gather and celebrate around the overconsumption of food, it got to stop. We got to change that, y'all. Shit is not cool. It's not cool. That's why this whole Thanksgiving shit, I'm not a fan of that holiday for that fact, because it's a holiday based on gluttony. And that shit is not cool. We gotta love ourselves more than that, y'all. We gotta love ourselves more than that. I'm from a South Asian household. Same thing applies. So much oily foods. It's killing us. It's literally killing us, y'all. It is literally killing us. Right? So the lack of self-love. Now, here's the thing, too. So I'm writing a script right now for a video, right? And this video is going to come out Sunday. I'm going to give you guys this kind of like one of the points in the script. You have to involve, matter of fact, I'm going to wait. So let's talk a little bit about self-sabotage. Let's talk about self-sabotage, right? Hold on, before I even go, right? Because the compulsive eater thing, right? We all have shown signs of compulsive eating at one point or another, right? And I'm not trying to villainize compulsive eating, right? We all do it at times, but it's usually caused by emotional triggers, by stress, by boredom, right? Most of the time, it's non-physiological factors that causes this compulsion to eat, right? Dealing with difficult emotions. A lot of the times, some of it is things that happen to us, but a lot of the times it's things that we choose, which again is a lack of self-love. It's a lack of self-love. A lot of these situations, a lot of us have stressful jobs, and I get it. I understand life is challenging for a lot of us. I get that. Life is challenging. I get that, right? But you got to have something in place to help you metabolize the stress, guys. So I want you to develop discipline, but you honestly, and this is going to be good, y'all. You honestly you don't want to use your discipline to restrict your eating. I'm going to say that again. The discipline that I want you to develop, that I'm helping my clients develop, is not to restrict your eating. The discipline is for you to put practices in your life and you to make changes in your life that reduces the threat, that reduces the stress, that reduces all of the things that is telling your subconscious mind to make you fat. Because once that happens, you don't need discipline. You won't want to overeat. You won't have the cravings anymore. Because a lot of the times we're turning to foods for things that we should be turning inward for or to God. We are looking to foods to escape our tough emotions. I know I'm not the only person. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that you use food to when you are feeling sad, when you're feeling lonely, when you feel frustrated, when you just had an argument, or even when you're happy. Or even when you're happy. That emotional eating, and listen, we all emotional eat. And honestly, it's a part of life. Like, we're emotional creatures. We're gonna, but you have to learn how to do it to where it's not detrimental to your health. I love to eat too. I love it. Let's not get it twisted. I definitely love it. Hold on, I'm trying to find my So listen, you want to control the stress because that is the number one source of the threat. The number one source is the stress. The number one source of threat is the stress. So if you have a job that's stressing you out, if you have relationships that stress you out, if you have trauma from your past that you refuse to address, it's going to be impossible for you to lose weight long term unless you address this stuff. Let me be very clear. It's going to be impossible for you to stick to a routine, especially when it comes to nutrition, and get the results and sustain the results if you have unresolved trauma, right? If you have things happening in your inner world, if you're in a stressful relationship, it's going to be impossible because your body is constantly under threat. And like I said earlier in the live, the threat activates this compulsion for you to pack away calories and put on body fat. You got to understand this. So if you have to get in a good place mentally and emotionally if you want to successfully lose weight. I'm going to say this again. You have to focus on getting into a good place mentally and emotionally if you are going to successfully not just lose weight, but keep that shit off. It's the only way. It's the only way. If you're on a diet, get off of it. The shit don't work. Restrictive diets where you're like hungry all the like that shit is never gonna work. Because the compulsion to overeat especially is activated by diets. And especially when you're hungry, forget about it. You got to learn to meditate and pray about this shit, y'all. Because you have to have things in place in your life that either helps build your resilience to the stress, or you need to reduce the stress in your life. One or the other. Something has to give. Something has to give. Because this cycle of going on these restrictive diets, losing weight, putting back on 120% more, right? You lose 40, you gain 60. That's the cycle that will continue if you don't get to the root of the issue. You got to understand that. There's no diet, there's no coach, there's no workout program in the world that's going to help you if you don't resolve the true underlying issue. If you keep addressing it from the surface, you're just going to stay on this roller coaster. And that's why I'm a big advocate for meditation, for prayer, for journaling, for support groups, because you have to heal what's going on emotionally. It wasn't until I went on my healing journey that I really got my relationship with food under control. I had to turn off my body's compulsion to want to be fat. Listen, I remember back when I was overweight, I remember losing 40 pounds, right? I would go on this diet or whatever. I was doing Atkins or whatever. I would lose 40 pounds, right? And then I would burn out. And then it was like, I could not stop eating. It's like the Holy Ghost was inside of me and was pulling me towards the nearest Chinese food restaurant. And I had to eat all day long until I gained that 40 pounds back. All right, this is a good opportunity. Dewan said, my mind seems too active for meditation. That is exactly why you need to meditate. The person with the calmest mind doesn't need to meditate. And a lot of us get it twisted. We think meditation, we're supposed to experience our mind shutting off. Nah, that's not how it goes. What you need to do is just allow your mind to do whatever it want to do. Just sit there. Don't expect anything. Go somewhere quiet. Sit somewhere comfortable and just focus on your breath. It's really simple. Of course, your mind is going to get active because your mind is trying to talk you out of doing it because it's uncomfortable. But everything that helps you grow is uncomfortable, my friend. Let's be very clear. If you need help with meditation, look up Light Watkins. That is actually one of my best friends in the world. Definitely look up Light Watkins. Light Watkins, that's my brother. Light Watkins, he trained me how to meditate. He changed my life. His book, Blissmore, look up Blissmore. That book absolutely changed my life. Meditation is one of those things that I don't even know if I'd be here right now without meditation. That's just facts. Either that or I'd be fat again if I didn't meditate, because it is the way that I metabolize stress. It's the way that I got to know myself and the nature of my mind. It is how I deal with my ADHD. It is how I deal with all of the stress and the pressure. Is with meditation. It is why I don't eat myself into a grave, because I have another outlet that I can use to process my emotions and to help me heal my brain. Y'all, we need to heal. We need to heal. Your diet is not going to work. Sorry to break it to you like that. Your diet is not going to work unless you train your subconscious mind to stop wanting you to be fat. And you train your subconscious mind, one of the ways is meditation. You have to affirm to yourself that you are safe. You have to create a life. You have to create thought habits that reminds and imprints on your subconscious mind that you are safe, that you no longer need protection. Some of us, and I'm very aware, like people who have gone through abuse. There are women who have been abused and raped, and they put on weight because they feel like it's something that's going to protect them from sexual offenders, right? I put on weight because I grew up in a household where my mom locked the food away. My mom kept the cereal in her room, bro, and locked it away. So the minute I got out of her house and I had access to unlimited food, I went crazy. My mom, I had a lot of trauma in my crib. There was a lot of abuse in my house. And food was the only way that I can feel good. I was dealing with a lot of mental health shit, anxiety, depression, and that shit ran rampant in my crib. You got to understand why. Why do you overeat? And don't tell me it's genetics, because it's not genetics. You're not fat because of genetics. It's BS. It's just not true. We can't lean on the genetics card anymore. It's just not true. You know why you say it's genetics? It's because your parents and your grandparents, everybody overate. Everybody ate a terrible diet. And that's why everybody's fat. Because both my parents were overweight. What happened with my genetics? No, it's choice. It's choice. Let's be very clear. It's choice. All right, let me get back to my notes. So emotional eating. So hold on. Let's talk about why self-love is the answer, right? The first reason why self-love is the answer is because if you love yourself, you're going to do the work. You're going to do the work to heal. You're not going to continue to avoid it. Avoiding addressing your inner issues is not self-love. That is hating yourself. That's avoiding the thing you need to do in order to heal, and that's not loving yourself. Let me be very clear. Whatever you need to do to heal, you have to face the discomfort of it. Love is the answer. Self-love is the answer. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is perfect, y'all. And you gotta collaborate with your higher power, whoever your higher power is, on this, because your conscious mind is not, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to will yourself to this, to achieving this. You got to invite God into your weight loss journey too. A lot of us, we pray for finances. We pray about family and relationships, but we don't pray to have God help us lose weight, or whoever your higher power is. You can't do this by yourself. Your will and your conscious mind is just not strong enough. It's just not. It's just not. I didn't do it by myself. I prayed every night for help, for divine guidance, for divine support. And if it wasn't for the divine support, I wouldn't have been able to do it. God is love. You gotta, man. Another reason why I love, right? Hold on. I'm looking at my notes here. So another way, right? We talk about the compulsion to overeat existing in your subconscious mind. Let's get to some solutions here, right? Because enough of this rhetoric. We talk about training your subconscious mind. If you don't train your subconscious mind, you'll never lose weight. There's no permanent weight loss without somehow training your subconscious mind, right? I'm going to get into how to train your subconscious mind. But first, I want to let you guys know I'm taking on online coaching clients right now. If you go to brixfitness.com and click on online coaching, there is a way for you to fill out a form and schedule a call with me. Now, I do the calls personally. And the reason is because I don't want I don't want to take money. I don't want, like, I have access to salespeople. I don't want salespeople to take money from people who are not ready to commit. I don't want to do it. I don't want to work with just anybody with money. I want to work with people who are at the right stage. They're ready to do the inner work, because it's so much more than diet and exercise. So if that's you, if you want guidance, there's an aspect of my coaching experience where I help guide you through your self-healing journey. I'm implementing that. So if you are ready to really dig deep and do this thing the right way, go to brixfitness.com and click on online coaching. And here's the link right here. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. All right, I'll get a question before I get into how to program your subconscious mind. How do you keep focused when you don't see the transformation after months on months? That's my hardest thing. The marathon is hard. Nipsey would be mad at me. Nipsey would be mad at me. When you don't see the transformation after months and months, if you're not seeing any results, right, you may need to change your definition of results. I don't want to kind of hit a loophole on you, but you can't exercise just to see the number on the scale move. If that's the only reason you're doing it, once you lose some weight, you're going to stop. So you need to get to the place where you have this relationship with exercise that it doesn't matter if the scale moves or not. You're doing it because you love yourself, right? Let me start with that. And if you are not seeing any weight loss after months and months, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not seeing any results, it's because your body is programmed to stay fat. It's because there's something deeper happening that you're not addressing. The cortisol levels in your body may be through the roof, and you may be eating more calories than you think. Because it's pretty much impossible for you to not see any weight loss if you're eating in a calorie deficit and you're exercising. That means there's something hormonal going on here, right? If you're for months and months and you're not seeing any results, if that's what you're saying, then yeah, there's something deeper happening here. Focus on reducing the stress. Focus on getting to understand yourself and your emotions. Understand what traumas and stresses that you need to address in your life. And then once your body feels safe, it will lose weight, because you won't be craving these foods anymore. You got to understand that. I know it's not a journey that everybody's ready to go on. I understand that. I get it. And be graceful with yourself until you are. But don't kill yourself. Don't frustrate yourself trying to go on these diets, and if you're not ready to do the mental and emotional work, because it's never going to work. It just won't work. It just won't. All right. So let me get into how to program your subconscious mind. Now, there's a few ways. I spoke about meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool to help you reprogram your subconscious mind. And meditation is also a great tool to help you heal, right? Heal your brain. Get to understand your emotions, understand the nature of your mind, find some stillness. That way you can reduce the cortisol levels, you can reduce the stress, you can increase the knowledge of self, right? A lot of the stress comes from the fact that there's uncertainty because you don't really understand what's happening. You don't know why you can't stop eating. If you understood why you can't stop eating, that gives you information. To one, you won't stress as much about it. And for two, you then can have a better strategy. But it comes from understand. You have to understand yourself. All right. Another way to retrain your subconscious mind is through visualization. So you want to, and this is something I'm having my clients do, daily visualization, meditation, and journaling. Because when you understand what's going on in your mind and in your heart, and you can address this stuff, your body will follow. Trust me when I tell you that. Your body will follow. But you can't try to put a diet on top of a stressful life where you have unresolved trauma and you are emotionally unstable. Because all you're doing is making the problem worse. Let me be very honest. All you're doing is making the problem worse. If you're going on a diet, but you're not willing to address the mental and emotional issues, it'll never work. And I'm not even being pessimistic. It just won't. You got to turn off your body's need to be fat. And you can turn that off through reprogramming your subconscious mind. It's the only way. If you're still with me, put a 1 in the chat. Let me see if y'all still with me. Anybody who has successfully lost weight understands that it's a mental and emotional journey, and let me add, spiritual. It's a spiritual journey. If you're still with us, put a 1 in the chat. It is a mental, emotional, and spiritual journey. You have to understand the connection between your mind and your body. You have to learn the connection between your mind and your body. When you understand that connection, it gives you the keys, right? Because then you understand what's happening. You understand how to get your body to not want to crave overeating foods that are destroying your health. You gotta wean yourself off of that stuff. And it takes time. I get it. These foods, by design, are addictive by design. You got to understand that. These foods are addictive by design. So I understand that it's tough. But you got to also you got to educate yourself on this stuff. If you know these processed foods are used to manipulate your palate, why bring them in your house? Why feed them to your kids? And I know it's hard because trust me, my son, he got a bunch of shit in there. But I pick my battles. I pick my battles. I understand the complexity of this issue. I understand it. I do. But you have to train your subconscious mind through meditation, through journaling, right? Getting to know yourself on a deep level. If you understand your trauma, if you understand your mental state, if you understand the patterns of your emotions and how your relationship with food has its ebbs and flows, if you understand that stuff, you learn that stuff by writing about it. If you understand that stuff, it gives you, like, you then can see the playing field from the blimp. Right? It gives you a higher perspective, which you can then strategize a different approach with. When you understand, and you won't be so emotionally attached to the ups and downs when you understand them. They won't have as much control over you. Everything in life has ebbs and flows. So you don't have to let the ebbs destroy you and get you off track. Because you just got to understand that that's just a part of the process, but you don't know that unless you do the work. So yes, you need discipline, but you don't need discipline to restrict yourself. You need discipline to learn the things about yourself and to put disciplines in place in your day that will allow you to heal and reduce the stress. Because once that is is reduced, then you won't crave these shitty foods anymore. You got to understand that. You got to love yourself, and that's why loving yourself is important, because then you reduce the amount of stress. You close the door that stress can come into when you love yourself. You narrow the entryway of stress because you give yourself grace. You give yourself patience and kindness. You understand that you are, I like to say, breaking a spell. So self-love, it starts with, nigga, hug yourself right now. I don't care where you at. Hug yourself. I love you. Tell yourself you love yourself. It may seem weird, but I prompt, just do it. Tell yourself you love yourself. You gotta love you. You can't exercise and go and eat, change the way you eat because you hate your body. You gotta do it because you love your body. You have to accept yourself right now for who you are, for where you are, and you gotta understand why you got here. And you got to give yourself grace. You got to give yourself love. A lot of this shit is generational. A lot of us, this is all we know is how to eat baby back ribs and macaroni and cheese and collard greens with pig back in it. So you got to just give yourself grace, and you have to do the work to educate yourself about nutrition. You got to learn your mind. You got to learn your body. You got to learn the connection between your mental health and your diet. Are you kidding me? Pay attention to how your thoughts react to the shitty foods. That shit is making you unwell in your head. These chemicals that they put in these foods is effing you up. You have to break the addiction. And the only way to do that is you got to understand, look at your relationship with food. The emotional eating is because you are trying to feel love. You're trying to feel safe. This is a process, and I get it. And I'm implementing something with my coaching clients. I'm working on it right now, where I'm going to start supporting my clients on their own healing journeys. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trying to heal nobody, but I have healed myself, and I do know how self-healing works. You don't need to go to therapy. Some people do. Let me say that. Some of us need to go to therapy. I've gone to therapy, but I did not respond. I did not depend on my therapist for my healing. If you have the resources, by all means, please see a therapist. But I know people in therapy that still are not doing the work. Therapy is not even always the answer, because a lot of times these therapists don't even know what the hell they're doing. Self-healing is a real thing. You could do it. You just gotta, it's all in your daily disciplines. Are you doing you want to go on a diet and go to the gym, right? You want to exercise your body, but you don't do anything to exercise and strengthen your mind and to fortify your emotions and to heal your emotions. You got to have rituals in place that will support you in this. And there's tons of resources. You got one of these things? You got one of these, right? Oh, I got text messages on this jump. If you got one of these, you don't have an excuse. All the information is there. All the information is there. Hey, Ben's Ryder said you can't learn self-healing from a book. Yes, you can. It does come from inside, but the book is what's going to tell you to look inside. A lot of people don't even know to look inside, bro. A lot of people don't even understand the concept of self-healing. They have no clue that they have shit that they need to heal from. So yes, the book helps. The book helps. We got access to the information. Get the support. Join an accountability group. Join a support group. I know that shit sounds corny, but you gotta find a safe space that you can let some of the shit that you got on your heart. You gotta let it out. You gotta find somebody to talk to. That's not gonna judge you, and that's gonna be able to give you, you know what I'm saying, give you some like real good feedback. You feel me? You got to understand this. You stop. Yes, I want you to exercise. Yes, I want you to eat healthy, but don't put all your effort there and neglect your mental health and your emotional health. If you put most of the attention and effort on your mental and emotional health, your body will follow. I'm telling you. Your body will follow. You got to understand this stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up. If you guys have any questions, I'll do questions. I'm doing a little Q&A. You can put them in the chat. I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm taking on online coaching clients, and I'm helping my clients with this stuff. This is things that I'm just now starting to implement. But you go to brixfitness.com, fill out the little form, and sign up for a call, and we can get you right. We can get you on the path, right? I can show you the resources. Again, I'm not a therapist. I'm not trying to be a therapist, but the self-healing movement is real. And Ben's right. If you don't know about it, bro, you better tap in. It's a lot of people out here that are healing themselves without having to go to a therapist. I want people to go to therapy if they can? Yes. But I don't want people who don't have access to a therapist to feel like they can't heal, because they can. You just got to understand this stuff. You got to understand the nature of, just because all of our problems are very textbook. We can all look and open a textbook and read the same shit that we're dealing with mentally and emotionally. We can read about it in a book. It's textbook. You feel me? All right, so if you guys have questions, let's put them in the chat. I appreciate you guys. No doubt, Andre, I appreciate you for tuning in. My man was here from start to finish. Shout out to everybody who was here from the start and is still here right now watching. I appreciate you guys' attentiveness and being a ear, right? Because I'm passionate about this stuff, right? And I want the world to heal. I want all my clients to heal. I want everybody who watch my channel. I want everybody to heal. Because the world is a better place, especially as Black folks, especially Black men. If we heal, that will change the world for sure. So put any questions in the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat. So if you guys don't have any questions, what's the minimum amount of fiber a person should eat? Yo, if I'm being completely honest, I don't even count my fiber, bro. I should, though. I should. Shout out to everybody that's in the Lean by Halloween challenge. Thank you, Monica, for being here. Monica that is my girl. Monica is my girl. Shit, God. Healing is hard. Pain is keeping me going right now. How do I change that? Man, anything worthwhile is hard. And if you continue to avoid things that are hard, I don't love that for you. I don't love where your life's gonna go. You just gotta lean into it, bro, because all the glory is on the other side of it. Trust me. I'm noticing loose skin. Any exercises to tighten it? If you find exercises to tighten it, let me know, because I still got loose skin here. I'm gonna show y'all. I know y'all ain't asked me. Look. Boop, boop, boop. It's just a part of losing weight, especially if you're losing any significant amount of weight. I don't think there's any way you can really prevent it. Hey, shit guy. Nah, it's not dark. I mean, it is what it is, bro. I understand. It's tough. It is hard. I love that. Yes, the loose skin is a trophy. My girl don't mind. It don't bother me much. I think I will get a surgery, but I'm not in a rush. Not in a rush. All right. Any more questions? I appreciate you, Benz. Much love. Do you believe in set point weight? Yes. That's essentially what I was talking about earlier, right? Your set point is determined by the amount of stress, right? What's happening in your body, right, is usually determined. So you change the set point by making sure that your body is out of this mode of keeping you fat by reducing your stress and healing your emotions. But I do believe in set point weight for sure, but it's a moving scale. What's your daily mental routine? First thing in the morning, when I crack my eyelids, automatically is gratitude. Because if you don't have that thing in place, I don't know about you, but my mind in the morning just be doing the most. First thing, gratitude. And I just do that mentally, right? I just do that mentally. The next thing I do, I meditate. I meditate for 20 minutes, right? I sit up on my bed and I meditate. So that's my morning mental health stuff. I do yoga in the morning, but I have a lot of room. I have like 2 hours, not 2 hours, but I wake up at like 4:30 and I'm doing all this stuff, an hour and a half of meditation and journaling and yoga. So, and in the evening, I have a 20-minute meditation session. And again, I don't want people to think that they got to do all of this. You don't have to. This is something that took me 6 years to build up to this, right? But yeah, so it's just mainly meditation, daily journal. Well, I journal probably about 4 days a week. But visualization, I do visualizations every day. So that's my routine. Thanks for the question, George. Thank you, bro. Brooklyn up. Glad I see you do a live here. Now, I'll be here from now on. Bless, bro. Much love. I appreciate that. Journaling. Are there some days you don't know what to journal about? No. It's some days. So when I was developing the habit, I used to journal every day, right? Even if that means I just wrote one sentence. But at this point, I pretty much journal when I have something that I need to journal about or something I need to kind of bring to the surface of my mind, right? Journaling is a good way for me to kind of dig into what's going on in my mind. Sometimes I can't access this stuff and it comes out when I write. So yeah, no doubt. Thank you for staying up late to watch me, Tan. I much love. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Besides Light Watkins, any advice for a person who's looking to meditate? Yeah, stop overthinking it. That's the best advice. Stop overthinking it. Sit somewhere quiet, sit somewhere comfortable, focus on your breath. Start off doing it for 3 minutes, build up to 5 minutes, build up to 9 minutes, build up to 15 minutes, and just stay consistent. Do it every day. It's gonna be hard. It's hard. But eventually you learn how to sit in the silence. And a lot of people can't sit in the silence because that's where they hear things about themselves that they don't like. But that's the point. Sit in the silence. It's valuable. there's there's so much science that supports why meditation is something that will make your life longer, make your life better. It will improve your mental health. There's all sorts of benefits, for sure. And turn the screens off. That's right, Jess. Much love. What do you think about an upper, lower 4-day a week workout routine? Upper, lower 4-day. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. 2 upper, 2 lower. That works. As long as you get enough volume. It depends on what your goal is. My man trying to shoot his shot. I see you, bro. Do you ever finish that plank? That's good, man. That was a good reel. I enjoyed making that. Yeah, I've been focusing on developing my core strength because I started feeling some pains in my lower back. I'm 40 years old now. So I got to definitely make sure my core strength is on point. My mobility is on point, because the body, you got to make sure that stuff's on point. So yeah, good question. All right, y'all. Oh, any advice on strengthening your lower back? Yeah. Core strength, building core strength, doing like bird dogs and Supermans and back extensions. All right, y'all. I got to go though. Much love. Shout out to everybody who watched the replay. Share the replay. Do I subscribe to a religion? No, I'm not a religious person, but I'm definitely spiritual. And I think to each their own though. All right, y'all. Gotta go.